I spent from the 4th up till upwards in boarding school in Ooty, Lawrence School, Lovedale. Boarding school was always, like this matron of ours. The matron is basically a lady who takes care of your house. So like she takes care of your food and your clothing, etc. She was a disaster and her name was Jerry. So we all hated her and we had to trouble her somehow. So we filled like buckets and buckets of washing powder and water, and we threw it from under her residence ka door into her house in the night. So this was a night as in like 3:30, 4 in the morning. And she was an early riser because she had to wake all of us up. And when she woke up, obviously her floor was full of soapy water and she slipped really badly and broke a few of her bones. No one came to know, who did it. I think now everyone will know. But clearly I've been busted. I'm sure no one will come and, catch me for it now. But it's funny also how things change. Like recently I got a message from my principal, who was then principal, saying I've moved to Delhi and I would really like to meet you. You're such a smart kid. So I wanted to tell him, you didn't think so 10 years ago. What's changed now? Yeah, so it was a lot of fun times in school, yeah. What happens in boarding school is these friends, I think, stick by you for life because you've slept with them, you've eaten with them, you've played with them, you've studied with them. My family, I can go on forever. That's the interesting part. So college was very fragmented. I started working with Indiabulls as a visual communication designer, part-time, intern rather, or whatever. And while interning with Indiabulls, some people realized my forte for aviation and my knowledge about aviation. So I was told, why don't you set up the aviation department with us? And I was just moved from being an intern to, being in the aviation department, setting it up from scratch for these people. And that obviously had all my interest, and college had zero interest. So I would go there from 10 to whatever time in the night that was required. So I started in Indiabulls with I think 40 or 60,000 rupees, I'm not sure, 40, 60, 40 I think. And I left Indiabulls at about 1.5 lakh in a year and a half's time, yeah. So nothing changed, college again, who pays a peon to mark attendance during college because you want to go to work? So I think I was always a rebel. So I had pink hair, like my entire head was pink. I would wear like so many bangles on my hands and dress very differently. So very, very rebellious. I always thought that I would change the world, on my way to changing the world and things like that. Initial employee, yeah. So finding the first employees was very challenging because obviously very low budgets, low salaries, and small office space, low budget. I mean, everything was a mess. Why would someone want to quit the corporate world and join a startup which they don't know is going where? Number one. Number two, why would someone even want to join an aviation startup? Because there's a common saying, if you're a billionaire and you want to become a millionaire, start an airline, things like that. So, but surprisingly, we didn't face a lot of difficulty finding the first few team members. They came along on their own. They're still part of our team. They're a very crucial part of our team. One or two who are no longer a part of our team are working elsewhere where I've gotten them placed. And they hold the company together up until date. So, I didn't know what would happen before or after funding. What next? Changing the world. Yeah, but I think what's next is, whenever someone asks me, what's your mission for the company? What's your vision for the company? What's your mission for yourself? What's your vision for yourself? I think these are goalposts that keep changing. You know, for example, I wanted to be on the cover of Forbes. Forbes 30 under 30 happened, and I've been clueless ever since. I was like, oh, this was that easy. Now what do I do? Right? So I think it all boils down to two things. Like for myself, I've always wanted to make my parents proud of me. You know, I've always been like, mummy, papa, और देश का नाम रोशन करना है. You know, I think we're on our way to doing that. And for the company, I mean, I really believe that you know, India has so much to offer to the world. It's just that we're not taken as seriously as we should. I had a colleague in the UK who told me, oh, you want to start an aviation company from India. What do Indians know about aviation, business aviation? And I think that was the day when something clicked in me and I wanted to really shut him up and, you know, prove to him that, look, the next big thing is going to come out of India. So, I mean, after obviously doing well domestically, so, you know, I mean, initially from, so when I wanted to start Jet Set Go, and I told them I'm going to be making an app. That time, app startups were not very popular. People didn't know too much about them. No one spoke about them. My mom keeps telling me, "Yaar, ab to shaadi kar lo." And I'm like, now I'll figure it out. You give me a few years. Now the ball's in my court. I will figure what I want to do.
So, any relationships you have?
No, nothing. Where's the time? We work 20 hours a day. I don't know about the inspiring part, but I always, an entrepreneur का तो मतलब ही नहीं पता था. So, you know, I've grown up in a business family where everyone's a businessman. So, whenever I had a fight with a school friend or a college friend, or whenever, you know, people made fun of me, the only thing that would go on in my mind was, one day I'm going to have such a big company, you're going to come to me for a job and I'm not going to give it to you. You know, so it's really uncanny how all throughout my life I thought I would be a business owner. I didn't think it would be aviation. I probably thought it would be an ad agency or something more creative, probably. But I knew I would start my own business and do it because, you know, the advantage of being from a Marwari family is you've never seen anyone go to a job. You've never seen anyone wake up at 8 a.m. and say, I have to be at a job at 9 a.m. You've always seen people take risks, fail, succeed. I've seen my father set up businesses from scratch, one after the other, after numerous failures, and hold the family strong. So, you know, I always knew, yes, I will set up a business, but I never knew that it would happen the way it's happened this early, or there would be so much help. And I also think it's all about timing, right? If I wanted to do this 10 years ago, would have probably failed. If I wanted to do this 10 years later, people would have gotten far ahead. I never went to college as such. My school teachers hated my guts. I was always in trouble. I was that child who was perpetually in trouble for not doing anything. Okay, and even if, say, you know, another child did the same thing as me, somehow I would get into more trouble because I was always that person who was not liked. But there was this one teacher called Mrs. Mariamma, who during every parent-teacher meet would tell my mother, you wait and see, your daughter is going to change this nation. She is so good. She is going to form a big business. And my mom would laugh, you know, and she would always say, she's fallen into your trap of make-believe. Stop making people delusioned. And, you know, she had so much faith in me. She was the only teacher, even when I did something wrong, she would never treat it as something wrong. She would treat it as something, she would find the good in the bad. And she would give all the other kids in class hell for doing the same thing. But Kanika never got that hell for doing that same thing. So I think, I mean, I really look up to her today, and I mean, I'm very thankful to her for having faith in me. And she was really old at that time. She was 59, 60, and amazing, amazing person. My inspiration. So that keeps changing, you know, time to time. But I think, yeah, so one person who's stuck on with me has been Richard Branson. I think I relate to him because he's probably as eccentric as I am. Then one of our investors, Mr. Puneet Dalmia, I think we share a very similar vision for the country, for businesses, styles of working. So, and I think the way he's achieved what he's achieved has been great. I think, yeah, a combination of these two, because Richard has all the eccentricness required and Puneet Bhaiya has all the down-to-earthness that's required. So, you know, earlier I had a lot of hobbies and interests. I would read, I would paint, I would travel a lot. And then life happens, and then work happens. So slowly the books vanished from the bookshelf, went into boxes. The paints got packed up, the canvases got packed up. Travel took a backstage. back foot as such. But yeah, I mean, if travel, I think is very cliche. Everyone loves to travel. But I really enjoy reading and painting. I also enjoy running a lot, which is again something I haven't managed to have the time for, which I hope to change. So you know, basically we are in an industry which works 24/7. So if someone's sleeping, that does not mean a plane won't fly, right? So I'm a very early riser. I do wake up very early, and like every other human being, the first thing I do is look at my phone. Depending on good things that have happened the previous night, I'll be in a very happy mood. Depending on all the nonsense that's happened in the night, I'll be in a very bad mood. But I think that kind of sets the motion for the day, which is a very wrong thing to do probably. Then I try to go for a run for 1.5 hours to clear up my mind, do whatever I have to do. Then I get on to all my email and pending work for the day from home, because it's impossible to do that at work. Then by 9:30 I'm at office after finishing all this. I wake up at 4:15. So it's check stuff from home, make your to-do list, have breakfast, run to work. At work, it's just back-to-back meetings. Like if you pick up the next 1 month's calendar, you'll find 8 slots every day, packed through and through. And I generally get done with work at around 12:31 in the night, come back home, sleep. So there is no time for anything else, basically, at this stage. So lunch happens at 5 p.m. Breakfast happens on time because it's in the car from home to work. But lunch, dinner, there's no fixed timing, there's no set schedule anymore, no.